welcome back to On Location in Vernon, brought to you by TELUS STORYHIVE. I'm your host, Riley Gabori, and I'm here today with my very special guest, Vaniel Bennet.
Howdy.
Tell me about yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
Well, I am 19 years old, fresh out of high school, and I'm an independent filmmaker, writing down a lot of ideas and going with the flow, and so far so good. It's been treating me quite well.
Cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been making movies for?
The spark really only started my graduation year when I did my capstone project. They wanted us to do something that we found special. I really thought long and hard about it. I realized film has really been a big part of my life since I was a baby. I chose that as my passion to pursue. It's been a really nice journey.
Did you have a moment in your film journey where you realized that this is what you wanted to do?
Oh yeah, I was actually shooting with Bowen, who's behind the camera right now. It was a really fun experience. It was my first proper shoot with good equipment and stuff, and my first ever time directing. It was this short film for Horror Fest. I participated with this production because I did all the editing, the sound and stuff. It really taught me a lot about the process. It was a fun opportunity, and I think this one shot I did was really cool. I gutted a pumpkin. Bowen helped with this too. We filled it with red dye. We made it just like all red and stuff, and then we put the pumpkin down and we put a wig on it, and then we spliced this stomp in with it, and it was so satisfying. And at that point, editing all that sound together, I think that really cemented my love for it.
Yeah. This short film, you want to give us a brief overview of what the short film is?
Basically, it's this character who wants to make a horror movie. So he basically kills his friends unknowingly, and throughout you just kind of see the perspective of the cameras that the killer is recording them from for his own movie, while you just see the killer chasing down his friends and whatnot. So, typical cheesy run-of-the-mill movie, but I kind of made it that way intentionally.
Yeah. Does it feel strange calling yourself a filmmaker now?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I only have one proper film to my name, and in hindsight, there were a lot of things, upon reflection, obviously, as humans, we're quite critical of ourselves, but looking back, even though I have some of those critiques, I knew the time I had then and the budget I had then, I was pretty proud with what I came up with. But definitely in the future, I'm gonna flesh things out more. I'm hopefully gonna get more people in on it and make it a title that I live up to.
When you first kind of picked film to pursue, were you running the streets telling everyone about it, or was it something you kept to yourself? Were you embarrassed by it in any way?
I wasn't more so embarrassed by it, more so just, I'm more of a keep to myself type of person, and now I'm trying to be more sociable, more vocal, so I've been trying to get the word out. Hey, I do this hopefully to get more opportunities in that field, and I feel that's a really good part of putting yourself out there and being, hey, I can do this, but the title of which I found that over time, you kind of own it. I'm going to do this project, and over time you're like, oh, I'm really good at this, or you might take pride in what you do. It's just the beauty of all of it.
Was there a moment you ever felt embarrassed for wanting to become a filmmaker rather than more of a traditional job?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I will never forget, it was my capstone project that I mentioned earlier for my grad year. I remember I had this little side room, and I'm going to be totally honest, I was so short on time because I'm a bit of a slacker. So I just spliced things together, and it was just this rough story about, I called it the Rat Man or whatever. It's basically about squatting and two POVs, the squatter's POV, and basically the squatter's a killer and then the guy looking for him. But I remember this girl watching it, and I'm just sitting there, and she's analyzing it. She's like, and she even took her glasses down a bit. I hit the pause button when it's over. I remember I stood there, and there's like a breath for like maybe 4 seconds. She's like, I don't get it. Ooh. And I'm like, that's okay. And then she's like, do you think it'd be good for your mark though? I'm like, you're not my teacher.
What's it discovering your creative path through this town? Where does the town's influence that?
I'd say Vernon itself as a town is quite antique, quite modern. It's kind of this good mix of like that, we got suburb areas, we got industrialized areas, we got some townhouses and stuff. So really that setting, I'd say throughout my entire time living here, there's always been this sense of nostalgia and familiarity within the air, because everything just is either a really old townhouse, like normal like neighborhood suburb that you'd see Stranger Things or something. Or you go to the more industrialized areas and you're, oh, this would be a really good location for an action scene or a horror scene. So there's just a sprinkle of everything here, and I think it's really interesting.
How have you seen that affect your work? Are you writing for Vernon, or are you writing and figuring it out through Vernon?
So many moments where I'm out and about and I'm in a rut writing, and I see maybe a convenience store or maybe an interaction on the street, and I'm, oh, if this happened in my story, taking inspiration from what I see around here and whatnot, and applying that to my script and writing.
If you had unlimited resources but had to stay in Vernon, what do you make?
I've been brainstorming this, driving around, you're out in like the res golf course area, there's all those trees, no leaves, and you look in the mountains, or you go to some areas and it's lower development and higher development. I think a GTA type story would work really well here, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm like thinking like either friends from really early on in life have a really different upbringing, and then they go on as adults, have completely different futures, but at the end of the day, they're all still criminals, or they run things, and they're all at each other's throats, but they're still friends and stuff.
Do you write with visuals in mind, or do you discover them later?
I'm a very visual thinker. I usually get scenes or rough ideas. For example, if I'm doing a horror, I try to think of things that would personally weird me out or others out, certain camera angles, certain like actions, certain settings and whatnot. And personally, I'm just a really visual thinker. So I kind of, script writing is like, okay, I see this and I write it in, or like I write it in and I'm like, oh, but it could look like this.
Yeah.
So it's very like mix match, but for the most part, I'm quite visual, I'd say, in that sense.
Okay, when you do, like, you write something, you get a visual, how do you know it's working? Like, what's the moment where you're like, this is it?
For me, I always just write out ideas and flesh them out. And if I know I'm fleshing them out, I know I like that idea. And within that passion, I always get visuals. I'm like, oh, this would look so cool. And just that passion and that determination to get through that script and to visualize it as I'm writing it through, making any little rewrites, I think that's really what ignites it.
So, like, as you said, you just graduated. When did you graduate?
2024.
Well, do you think you feel ahead of your peers now, or do you think you're right where you want to be, or does it matter?
I could really care less because I'm more focused on myself. I found that taking that time to get to know yourself, focus on yourself, that's really valuable, and our time is really limited. So I think to love yourself and to accept yourself and taking that step first is really important.
What is the hardest part about making films, specifically at your age?
Well, I'm pretty young, so I feel a lot of my ideas at times can be quite outlandish, and for people who want to maybe invest in that, they may not want to take that risk. I'd say a lot of young filmmakers nowadays are quite bold with what they do.
Have you ever thought about taking a different path, or this is the only path for you?
I'd say filmmaking is a pretty adaptive thing, you know, like let's say, you know, you're busy in life, you want to just put it down for a bit. You can do that. You can always pick it up later. Yeah. It's one of those things that you can always touch back on, and I think that's quite beautiful.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing people don't understand about filmmaking is they're always like, oh, you're making movies. But it's like, well, yeah, but think of every single advertisement you see, every single reel you see, everything is technically falling under that blanket. Like it is, you can be a filmmaker and work in the oil fields. You know, you could be, you know, like you can do all of it, which is what I like about it.
I think it's a really versatile thing.
What's your favorite part about making movies with like absolutely nothing?
Absolutely, it's the creativity, I'd say, because like I remember a lot of it for me is inspiration, creativity. You know, there's a lot of films out there. Like I think of trauma films and stuff, like with their budget, like how they had like low budget, like they had to make heads explode, so they use pumpkins. I'll use pumpkins, right? Yeah. There's always an alternative to these things, and I feel like it's up to you to like create that, and like up to you to like try your absolute hardest. Yeah, and that's actually what I like, from when I saw the pumpkin shot, what I like about it is it's like, when you have no money, you're almost at this, you have a really good opportunity. Yeah. Because a lot of people I've worked with, like way in the past when I was, you know, they would try to be making it look the
like look like a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's never gonna look like a movie. But you have this thing to make like these crazy splatter films and like these effects that sure they don't look real, but they look so gross that it has like this wicked charm to it. You know what I mean? And it's like that's what I like about like what I saw. It's like it's like
visceral.
Yeah, exactly. And you can tell that like it looks like you're doing it all in camera.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not like it doesn't take me out of the movie. It's like when you go frame by frame, you can. But it's like I'm not. You know, when I see it, I'm watching. I'm like, oh, you know, yeah.
I was so grateful it lined up.
Yeah.
Because like if it's off by 1 centimeter, there's going to be that one guy who's like, I saw that.
What do you look for in creative partners?
Oh, I'm a very wavelength-based person, but I love it when people aren't afraid to be themselves in like terms of like who they are and as a creator. Like I love it when like. Let's say I'm writing something and I get my friends' input. I'm like, what do you find scary? And then they feed that, and then it turns into like this like coagulation of, you know, my work and my friends' help and whatnot and their contributions to like ideas. And I just really love that. Yeah.
Have you had any mentors, even informally?
Informally.
Or formally?
Formally, informally. Bowen.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
We gotta have a counter in the corner somewhere. A little Bowen help counter. But no, he's a really great help.
Yeah.
But as well, you know, you meet a lot of people like through this job. You know, you might do a grip work on like a set for volunteering. You'll meet someone there that's like, oh, like I'll help you out, and then you find out you have a lot in common with them, and you know you do stuff with them in the future.
How many sets have you been on then? Like not including yours. Yeah.
I think 3.
3.
Yeah.
And all in the Okanagan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kelowna.
Yeah, both in 2 in Kelowna and 1 I just helped a buddy out with in Vernon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you what is the benefit of going to these sets?
You learn a lot. You know, you sit, you watch people act. You know, if you want to take in some acting lessons, it's really good to just watch and to absorb that performance. And, you know, you have a script at hand too, if they allow that. You know, you can take a look over that. It might help improve your writing. And of course, this is totally up to like the people on set. You don't just steal.
Yeah.
But, like, I'd say it's one of those jobs where you can learn just about anything that like any little part of it. You want to learn like how to do grip, you want to learn how to act, you want to learn how to like direct. You can just show up to a shot and, you know, pretty quickly you might pick up on some things. You can ask about them. It's pretty good. Yeah.
As my brother likes to say, you got to go there and see what's up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Because what are you looking to do? Like, are you wanting to be director, writer? Are you going to want to be cinematographer, editor?
My mind's like changed about it a lot, but I've learned that it's okay to obviously like go like that. But you know, I've considered acting, but I definitely need to hone that craft because I suck at remembering lines. I'm good at improving when it comes to like reading the rough line and like improving off of that in character, but I cannot for the life of me like remember lines.
That's arguably the better way to be.
I know, 100%. But like when you're doing what was it? Your little audition. I remember.
Yeah.
I was about to do one. I think it's local Lakefield entity. Lakefield entity. I think Lakeview. Something like that. It's local.
Sounds local.
It's cool. I went to audition for that, but I feel bad because it was like right when my life picked up and I got real busy, so I couldn't pursue it. But it really taught me a lot. You know, just retention, and I'd say like even like reading over a script for a character, you know, practice makes perfect.
Yeah. And it was like improv is great because now you know the beats, and if you can pick up a character's beats and not the lines, you kind of know what they're supposed to say, so it doesn't matter if it's on the line.
I think I'm really good at reading characters.
Yeah. What does film let you express that words alone can't?
It allows me to express that deep pit inside myself that most people can't see, that I myself at times can't even peer in, and to push it out and to produce this creativity. I think it's a really beautiful thing to see creation like unfold before your eyes, and to be the person to do that, to be someone who like takes that initiative and that like jump, and like I think there's just beauty in expressing yourself, expressing a story, either way, with that personal like touch within your own script, even if there's not, it's still beautiful.
I think it was really beautifully said.
Thank you.
I would agree with you. Obviously, your favorite genre is horror, or that's where you find yourself working. So do you think you've kind of, are you still finding your voice in horror? Do you think you kind of have, like, at least an idea of what your like a Vaniel movie looks like?
Yeah. I love liminal space. I love atmosphere. I think atmosphere is crucial to good horror nowadays. Because, like, a jump scare can get everybody, but, like, I like feeling like I'm in looming danger when I'm in a horror movie. But a movie of mine, if it was perfectly up to me, what a good horror movie would be like a liminal experience with a lot of atmosphere, and I think some like nostalgia aspects, not like nostalgia baiting, like, oh look,
but like you watch a lot of analog horror on YouTube. Yeah.
I just love that weirded out, creeped out feeling, like that little shiver. I think that's like the best thing you can get out of horror.
Are there any guilty pleasure influences of yours?
I really like Wes Anderson's symmetry. Everyone says they love Wes Anderson, but there's a reason for that, I feel. Yeah. Like, I even got a fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, wicked.
Oh, is that new?
Yeah, I got it stick and poked.
Oh, that's so sick.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah. No, I really love that movie, but I love symmetry, if it makes sense. Like, obviously there's shots, like, if you see an unsymmetrical shot, it's not the end of the day, but I love, like, kind of like that symmetry, like focusing your gaze on, like, okay, this really central frame, or like, oh, this one's on the far right. I feel like that really helps me focus as a viewer. I also think of like David Lynch and like Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah.
I love.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah. Twin Peaks is cool. If you had to stop making films tomorrow, what would you miss most?
That creative outlet.
You don't think you could find that in other?
I mean, you can, but like, you know, you can be a painter, you can be a script writer, but it's not going to be filmmaking.
Yeah. So what is it about filmmaking specifically?
Filmmaking specifically?
Yeah.
I don't know, I use the word beautiful at least 5 times, so I think the second best synonym would be gorgeous.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
I just find it so appealing, you know, just being able to make your movie.
To add on to that, I think film kind of offers this will make people like the most creativity, where in terms of like you have to paint an image, and you need to have good, like, you need to have sound. You can do things with your sound that a song does, and then you need the actor in the play, and then you need the depth of a novel.
Right.
And if you have, but they also need to all work together in unison. Like, you can't have a guy painting one picture and a guy writing a completely different novel, because then it's like, what's going on here? And then I think that's kind of fun. I like that a lot.
It is.
What feels unclear about the future right now?
Unclear?
Yeah.
Honestly, the most unclear thing is what specific thing I'd pursue. Because as firm as I am on filmmaking and, like, you know, maybe directing, I do enjoy, it's a guilty pleasure, just writing down an idea and then getting so hooked on it that I just keep writing and I don't stop for like an hour or two. Yeah. Or even just acting, because like, I love performance. You know, I like earlier, like we spoke, eyeing up acting and stuff. Yeah. I definitely love to like explore that. But I feel like once I am, instead of like ankle deep in the water, once I'm like knee deep, I'll figure whether or not to go for that full body swim.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. Like, I've acted a couple times recently, and it's I never thought I'd be acting, and it's made me realize that writing, directing, and acting. If you can do all three at least once, do all three at least once. All right. Because they all work like so in tandem to each other that it's like, it's hard to direct if you've never acted. Yeah. Because it's like, how do you know? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you know? Like it's very different when you're in that scenario. But I would, and I feel like you got a good look, and and you're into it. You're a performer.
Thank you.
Yeah. You should do it.
I got my beauty sleep before this.
Are there stories you feel you're not ready to tell?
It's a hard one. I feel like the stories I'm not ready to tell have a purpose for not being ready to be told, because I think I have to be at a certain point in my life. I have to feel a certain way to kind of express those.
Do you feel like you're at the beginning of something or just experimenting?
Oh, definitely the beginning. I'm just starting off my life essentially, that independence. And in exploring that, I think film will go in tandem in that independence. So I definitely think from here, it's not going to be straight up, of course. It's going to be a little bit of a windy road, but at the end of the day, the road trip will be fun. So,
what would you say to someone your age in Vernon who wants to create but hasn't yet?
Do it.
I agree with you.
But I feel like there are so many creative people out here, and I know a lot of people who have very wide interest in the arts, whether it be painting, drawing, writing, filmmaking. But, end of the day, it's up to the person to kind of take that step. And I think once you take that step, there's no real penalty to it. You just kind of do it. You figure out if you like it. If you don't want to do it, that's okay. If you want to touch it later, that's perfectly fine too.
What are the perks to starting young? Because you started at 18?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, 17, 18?
17, 18. Yeah. Starting young, your brain goes places, man. You start thinking of the most outlandish things. But I'd say ideas, when we're young, there's kind of that innocence to some. There's kind of that, depending on who you are, where you come from, you might come from a place of grief, it might come from a place of sorrow. Really, it just boils down to just take that shot in the dark and go for it.
So what do you wish you knew when you began then?
I feel like scheduling's so important, and I kind of took that for granted. It was on my grip job after the fact, and they showed the schedule. I'm like, oh wow, I got to do better.
Yeah, I would say you do for certain projects.
Yeah.
But if it's kind of like we do lots of stuff that's oh, you want to just come over and in 2 days we're gonna make a movie. You need to have a plan so you're not wasting people's times, but at the same time, they're there to have fun and make a movie, so you can kind of have fun and make a movie. Where it's the second it's big projects, it's you got to have that stuff planned, so nobody's time's wasted. And the most important part when you get bigger is now you're wasting money. What does success mean to you?
Success, I think success is an individual journey that is up to you entirely. And success is something that, once you achieve, oh, I did it, But I feel like a lot of people think that success is, past the point of success, you still have to feel that success. And that's not true. You can feel success in the moment. You can feel it later. I've said that a lot, early. It's just such a versatile thing, filmmaking. Yeah.
If this interview becomes a snapshot of you right now, what do you hope it captures?
It's my first time really doing, not necessarily first time doing an interview. I think Bowen's interviewed me before, but it's a lovely experience, and I just hope that this, I'm here. Hi guys.
Why does starting here matter?
I think starting here matters because we have an entire town that is perfect for whether it be a drama, whether it be action, whether it be horror. I think that this town, like Vernon, perfectly encapsulates every field you want to go for, and I think it's a really versatile location that will accompany the versatile ability, the versatileness. Add ness on the end of any word, and it's a word of filmmaking. And so it just kind of goes in tandem, and I think this is a really good place to do it.
I agree with that.
Cool.
And it's cheap.
And it's cheap.
Kind of. Well, thanks for joining us for On Location Vernon, brought to you by TELUS STORYHIVE. And you can click right here to find out more. You throw it back and forth.